Paperless Math, Learning Outcomes of Paperless versus Traditional Classrooms. Jennifer Morlock, Park University, Fall 2016. Hello, my name is Jennifer Morlock. I'm currently a grad student at Park University and a teacher in the Platte County R3 School District. This presentation was created to share and explain my research paper on paperless math. In the middle school classroom, technology immersion has a positive effect on student learning. For the purpose of this study, 7th grade math students, both male and female, in the Platte County R3 School District were evaluated over 2 years through pre- and post-tests. The first year research used minimal technology, once or twice a week, while the second year used technology on a daily basis. The second year also implemented the same R model: substitution, augmentation, modification, and redefinition, developed by Dr. Ruben Puentedura to better help students with 21st century learning. While learning gains were made both years, results show that the students made larger gains when technology was used on a daily basis for all aspects of learning. Learning math without paper? How can that be possible, and does it even work? When any person does an internet search for online math programs, middle school, the results are stunning. There are about 27,600,000 results that show up through a Google search. Mathematics is an integral part of middle school education, and technology is quickly becoming just as important. With the direction that online programs are taking schools, it is essential that we address whether paperless math classes are effective. It is the opinion of this study that in our technology-rich world, technology in the classroom can be used to help students thrive. Previous research has focused on mostly technology-enhanced rather than technology-based. Technology-enhanced learning is using technology to substitute or augment what could be done with paper and pencil occasionally. Technology-based is using the same R model to modify and redefine how the students are learning with technology through projects and collaboration on a regular, if not daily, basis. Several studies have also looked at online classes rather than technology-based within the classroom. Others still have looked at different levels of education in students, but not many focus on middle school. With the lack of research into online math curriculum and resources in the middle school, it is important that we study how it affects students. Is this helping student achievement, hindering it, or does it even make a difference? By examining classes that have gone paperless and classes that have not, we can compare the differences in student success. It is important for educators and administrators to know what the success or failure of these options are before going straight into them. Paperless is possible, and it is being used in several locations throughout the world, the United States included. In a 2015 article by Amanda Jalen, one such school, Holy Redeemer School in Marshall, Minnesota, is described. All the teachers and students in the school of 270 have been supplied with tablets, which they bring home and back to school every day. This school is a great example of starting to go paperless. Teachers are able to assign students lessons online based on ability. Quizzes are taken and graded online. Students can receive feedback whenever the teacher mirrors their screens, and those are just a few examples. A paperless classroom can be accomplished in several ways. Teachers can use class websites to feed information to students. They can use a program such as Google Classroom to provide the same thing, or students can even create their own resources. Students can turn in assignments through email, Google Docs, Blackboard, or any number of other programs. In a math classroom, the idea becomes a bit tougher. Students need to be able to show understanding of the process. This can be done through using a stylus and a tablet to write the work and submit it as a picture. The ideas to achieve paperless classrooms are endless. David Andrade, an educational technology administrator, gives several examples on his blog to go paperless, including but not limited to digital assignments, online grading programs, smartphones, Evernote, digital assessments, and electronic bulletin boards. Already, schools are moving in the direction of paperless with the use of gradebook programs such as PowerSchool. Districts are giving teachers copy limits to decrease the use of paper. Several textbook companies are also moving to online textbooks. According to a study by Ted Hill and Kate Lara through the Book Industry Study Group, 80% of publishers of textbooks believe the digital subscriptions are inevitable. Historically, classrooms have been run almost entirely on paper. Paper textbooks, paper notes, paper assignments, paper assessments. Using the estimate that each teacher in a school with 50 teachers gets 50 reams of paper per year, that is approximately 1.25 million sheets of paper for just 1 year. That's not even including the paper the office uses, the textbooks, the spiral notebooks, and everything else that gets printed or written on in school. Let's also think about the cost. According to Staples.com, a case of copy paper, about 5,000 sheets, sells for $45.99. That comes to about $11,500. That money could easily go towards tablets for students. Looking at those figures, it is possible to redirect funds to get the technology to students, but is it for the best? In a 2015 study conducted by Li and Yao, research found that improving quality and accuracy of content and improving readability are among the most important factors in electronic textbooks. They suggested using cloud computing and open marketplace to improve quality and accuracy. The suggestions for improving readability is user-friendly interfaces and screen technology. Li and Yao suggest that further research be completed in platforms for collaborative learning. The research on learning outcomes in traditional and online courses varies depending on the research you look into. Stack's research shows that there is very little difference in learning online and traditional classrooms. The study of Parsons, Pollard, Lax, and Grant show that test scores are higher in traditional classes. And the study of Grattan, Lavoie, and Stanley found that online scores are higher than in traditional classrooms. It is suggested in Grattan, Lavoie, and Stanley that since the students in their study were given the choice of online or traditional classes, higher achieving students selected the online option. All three of these studies look at success of online courses rather than classroom-based technology. They also look at post-secondary education rather than middle school. Several of the ideas from the previously discussed studies will remain the same. This study just changes some of the variables. This study does, like Stack's, look at final assessment data. However, pre-assessment data will also be taken into account. Like the Grattan, Lavoie, and Stanley study, the subjects will be allowed to choose the amount of technology they use when doing things such as taking notes. Given the setup of technology in the participating school, not all students are able to go completely paperless. Based on the availability of technology at home, the option to do paper homework assignments will be available to all students. The research designed for this study is practical action research. Practical action research is designed to diagnose current problems or concerns, or even to dive deeper into a topic. In education, this can include organization, academic, or instructional issues. This type of research can help educators address those topics in an effective manner and improve from the findings. The focus lies in studying local practices and leads to a teacher as researcher role. The general goal of action research is to use findings to better the classroom and/or school. The area of focus for this study is whether or not paperless math classrooms in middle school are effective for student learning. It is also important to state that the SAMAR model was used with technology to enhance the 21st century learning practices. These learning practices include collaboration, digital literacy, and problem-solving skills that students in today's world will need. Data for this study has been taken from two main areas. The first being 7th grade math classrooms for the 2015-16 school year. The classes looked at were all learning about operations of integers. This study looked at two pre- and post-tests from these groups of students, approximately 135 from the two middle schools in the Platte County R3 school district. The second set came from the same grade, teachers, and topics in the 2016-17 school year, approximately 165 students. The population for this study was the students in the Platte County R3 school district. There are two samples. The first is the 135 7th graders from the 2015-16 school year, and the second is the 165 7th graders from the 16-17 school year. These students come both from Berry School and Platte County Middle School. The district is approximately 78% white, 9% black, 7% Hispanic, and 6% other. One of the middle schools is classified Title I, the other is not, and 24.5% of the district has free and reduced lunch. The environment in which this study took place is different classrooms throughout the district. The average student classroom teacher ratio for secondary rooms in the PCR3 district is 17:1. Classrooms are one-topic rooms, meaning their teachers specialize in one subject. The level of math varies across the study. The student's ability level also varies, meaning there is a mixture of special education students, gifted students, and regular education students. The amount of years teachers have taught will also vary. The two sets of data include 7th grade test scores from the 2015-16 school year, when the classroom was technology assisted, and the 7th grade test scores from the 2016-17 school year, when the classroom had become virtually paperless. In the 15-16 school year, students were able to use a computer to do assignments and practice approximately twice a week. In the 16-17 school year, students used technology on a daily basis to do everything from take notes to assignments, practice, and projects. The use of the SAMR model was present in both school years. The 15-16 school year used mostly the S and A parts of the model, substitution and augmentation. When technology was used in the classroom, it was used mainly as a substitute for paper and pencil. For example, instead of doing a worksheet, the students might type the answers and email them to the teacher. In the 16-17 school year, the M and R, modification and redefinition, were used on a more regular basis. For example, students completed a project where they were to design and create a digital instructional resource. All four parts of the model are needed, but to do the most good, students need to see the later two parts more often. Both years of instruction were completed by the same teachers and included the same standards. The standards assessed for this study were from the Common Core Math Standards for 7th grade math. The first one was number systems, apply and extend previous understandings of addition and subtraction to add and subtract rational numbers. And the second one was apply and extend previous understandings of multiplication and division to multiply and divide rational numbers. The standards are also two of the power standards in the Platte County R3 school district. This means there is an emphasis on teaching these topics. The instruments used in this study were performance measures. The performance measures were a pre- and post-test that had been previously created in order to study the level of proficiency on the power standards. The first pre-test had 10 questions at multiple levels of understanding for addition and subtraction of integers. The second pre-test also had 10 questions at varying difficulty for multiplying and dividing integers. The exact same test was given to students approximately 4 weeks later after instruction as a post-test. In this study, it has been chosen to look at only one district as the curriculum is the same across the district. If different curriculum was being researched, the results might be skewed based on the success or failure of the curriculum being used. By using all teachers from the same district, the study can be based more on the topic at hand, which is paperless classrooms. It should be understood that teachers do teach differently and with different abilities, but if the data is looking at each teacher's pre-test to post-test results, this should negate that as a factor. The pretest was given prior to starting any instruction in all classes participating to keep results accurate and reliable. The post-test was given to each class after the same amount of instruction in all classes. The pre and post-test was also given at the same time of day and in an environment as close to each other as possible. While the data is from two different schools in the district, both schools had the same 7th grade math teachers for the 15-16 school year and the 16-17 school year. Both schools were also teaching the same curriculum and standards based off the Common Core state standards. Digits, an online math textbook and resource set by Pearson, is the main resource for both schools as well. While both groups of students, the 16-17 7th graders and the 15-16 7th graders, used digits differently, it was used both years. And finally, the results. In the Platte County School District, cycle tests are used to check for understanding and growth on power standards. There have been 5 chosen for 7th grade math. The results from cycle tests are shown in 4 categories: intervention level, which is below 60%, basic, which is 60 to 75%, proficient, 75 to 90%, and advanced, 90% and above. The first cycle covers the Common Core Standard 7NS1D, which is apply properties of operations as strategies to solve addition and subtraction with integers. The second is 7NS2C, apply properties of operations as strategies to solve multiplication and division problems with integers. The data on both cycles in both years shows improvement. However, it is the amount of improvement that we will look at. The first cycle shows an improvement from pre-test to post-test during the 15-16 school year of 82% at intervention level to 63%. During the 16-17 school year, the intervention levels went from 83% to 41%. The second cycle showed similar statistics. During the 15-16 school year, the intervention level dropped from 45% to 23%. And in the 16-17 school year, the level went from 97% of students to 30% of students. On both cycles, the changes in intervention level of students were greater in the 16-17 school year. A difference of 19% in the 15-16 school year on cycle 1 is much less than the difference of 42% in the 16-17 school year. On the second cycle, there was a difference of 22% in the 15-16 school year and a change of 67% in the 16-17 school year. These differences show that there was a much larger amount of learning during the year that had the technology-based instruction. The data shows that there is a greater improvement in the second cycle of the 16-17 school year than in the first cycle of the same year. It is the opinion of this study that this is due to a better understanding of technology. The first cycle was the first time students had been introduced and used the Chromebooks on a daily basis. At the time of the second cycle, the students and teachers had become more accustomed to the tools and were able to use them more effectively. According to a 2002 study by William D. Beeland, students and teachers agree that technology is a major factor in engagement. Students who use technology are highly engaged, which leads to students who better learn material presented to them. It is using this information that shows a possible reason for the improvement as students being more engaged. There are several factors to consider when looking at the data, including what technology does to teacher instruction. More research needs to be done in looking into whether the technology is more affecting the teacher or the learning. It is the current belief of this study, however, that the technology affects both and therefore leads to a greater understanding of new material in the classroom by students. So, can a paperless classroom be achieved in the middle school? Yes and no. Technology-based is definitely possible, but there are always students that will prefer paper and pencil, and this option, for differentiation reasons, must be available to them. There are also students who do not have technology at home and have to have the paper option for homework. How does technology-based teaching affect student learning in the middle school environment? Students were more engaged in lessons, which led to collaboration and a deeper understanding of the material. The effects on students were positive. Students showed significant gains in knowledge over students who did not use daily technology in the classroom. This study has shown that technology-based education can be an asset to student learning in the middle school. While high levels of technology are not available to all students, schools must remember that we live in a technology-rich world and students can use it to thrive.